And right now at 7, Carthage City Council is wanting better communication between them and the Water and Electric Plant Board.
Also, we take a look at some storm damage that happened in the 4 states that occurred early this Thursday morning.
And we've still got a few scattered showers and storms out there across the area. Those will move out, and we'll tell you what kind of impact they could have on our thunderstorm chances later this evening coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. now on this finally Friday across the 4 states. It is warm. It is muggy outside already.
At least it's Friday.
It is Friday. It is Friday. We have some scattered storms out there now. We could see some strong, severe thunderstorms later this evening. We'll talk about that in your forecast here in just a little bit. But we're still talking about some of the issues facing the city of Carthage.
Yeah, they are going through it. The city utility workers in Carthage who have been hoping for a wage increase, they will have to wait for at least a little bit longer now. It's
the latest in a back and forth between the Water and Electric Board members and the city council that some say was all the result of miscommunication. KOAM spoke to the Carthage mayor for an update on efforts to clear things up in the future.
The Carthage City Council wants to improve communication between the city's Water and Electric Board. Carthage Water and Electric Plant created a budget including salary increases. However, according to officials, this is where the miscommunication began.
The board had given the general manager the authority to develop the salaries and approve, and they approved them through him, which was not communicated. We were not. That's where the miscommunication was.
According to city officials, not all salaries were approved by the board. The city requested details from the board in order to approve other salaries. The city ordinance states that workers' salaries must be approved by the council or the board. The council requested a salary study from the board to determine if their workers are paid fairly compared to area utilities. The board submitted a salary survey from the National Public Utility Association, but the mayor said the survey was inadequate. The council met behind closed doors and then voted to remove all 6 board members of the Carthage Water and Electric, which caused backlash from the community.
You know, things got way out of hand and it was major miscommunications.
The Carthage Water and Electric Board is still intact. The council is conducting a salary study. The mayor says once the council receives the results of the study, utility workers can expect to see a wage increase in next year's budget. The mayor says he's not sure when the study might be completed, but the Carthage Water and Electric, they did celebrate 125 years yesterday with an ice cream social. So that's pretty cool. That's one little positive note about their story.
Yeah, it is. Certainly something I know we'll continue to follow as things develop up there.
Definitely going to keep following the case, going to stay in contact with city council, stay in contact with residents. I know residents are really invested in this story, so we're definitely following it.
And something else we're following is some scattered thunderstorms out there this morning, but the threat for severe weather as we head into this evening. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us where we still have some of that scattered thunderstorm activity, primarily now focused in northeast Oklahoma, Washington, Nevada counties. Take a look at all the lightning, very electrical storm out there, and it's got some wind gusts to about 40 miles an hour and some small hail. We did have this little guy here that went into Dade County, but he's starting to die out, so that's all that's left there, and just this down here, but it is continuing to push on off to the south and east. So here's the thing I was talking about. These storms, these showers we've seen this morning are going to play a role in our threat for severe weather later today, but we're not going to fully know what that role is for at least a few more hours. So for right now, we have a very low tornado risk, but we do have a low to elevated hail risk and an elevated wind risk with the possibility in these hatch mark areas of winds pushing 70, 80 miles an hour. So here's what's the 2 possibilities. The storms and showers this morning eat up all of the energy in our atmosphere and the energy doesn't come back. That happens, we'll see a few scattered storms this evening. They could be strong, but they won't pack quite as much of a punch as if our atmosphere manages to get that energy back. Now, this particular take on the future track has the suggestion that that energy will come back, and that'll be ahead of this line of thunderstorms across central Kansas that'll push through between about 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. as we head into the evening. And this line of storms could be strong to severe, with strong damaging wind gusts being the primary threat as it surges southeast across the area. Could have a few residual storms back behind that, and then by about 2-3 a.m., the whole complex is out of here. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that and see exactly how our atmosphere recovers this afternoon. Again, if it recovers, that scenario is very likely to happen with the strong damaging wind gusts, severe storms tonight. If it doesn't recover as much, strong storms possible, but they're going to be a lot more isolated. Rain chances bounce around. We could see a couple of stray showers, maybe a rumble of thunder through the afternoon. Those will be very isolated, but then they'll really ramp up as we head into the evening hours. Very quick check outside. We got mostly cloudy skies off those showers and storms in southeast Kansas on the Joplin side. We got 75. It is muggy. Dew point 68. Humidity 79%. All of us starting the day very warm. 76 Nevada, 75 Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Iola, 77 in Chanute, 74 Parsons, Chatopa, Miami, Neosho, and a little cooler in Monette at 72. We'll have another full look at your forecast, and we'll keep an eye on those storm chances for this evening as we go through the morning show. Amber?
Thank you, Chris. Thursday morning storms left scattered damage. In Carthage, a number of trees and limbs were down. This is video from a neighborhood near 162 Road in Oak Street in Carthage. Across the state line, Crawford County, Kansas reported a number of water rescues as well. The EPA is checking yards in Baxter Springs, Kansas for lead contamination. Parts of Cherokee County are on the national priorities list due to previous lead contamination. Years ago, the area was home to one of the largest lead and mining districts. After a cleanup effort a few years ago, the EPA is back for lead testing.
Lead, zinc, and cadmium, those three metals, and those are the primary contaminants of concern associated with the historic mining in this area. And so they're all naturally occurring, and they're the ones that pose the most risk to human health and the environment with regard to the Cherokee County Superfund site.
The agency also encourages everyone, especially children, to be tested for lead contamination by visiting your local health center. Authorities arrest a man suspected of damaging tens of thousands of dollars in copper wire of an area internet provider. Troy Maples is charged with the theft of property or services and criminal damage to property, among other crimes. It stems from recent copper wire theft from KOAM Telephone Cooperative. Authorities found Maples just outside of Pittsburgh. KOAM offers a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of a suspect in the vandalism and theft. Police say thieves are targeting grounding copper, but they are also cutting fiber. Although copper theft yields only a few $100s, the damage caused by cutting fiber is more significant. It can cause outages to services such as 911. MoDOT says the I-44 bridge near Fidelity is now repaired and all lanes and ramps are open. The bridge was damaged last month when an oversized crane went under it on State Highway 59 and struck the bridge girders. The girders and the concrete surrounding them were damaged, but MoDOT engineers at the time determined the bridge to be structurally sound. Still, it needed repairs, which are now complete. Well, coming up, Megan Meyer steps into the studio to tell us all about what kind of events you can expect at the MoCan Dragway Chaos Nitro event, celebrating the Dragway's 61st anniversary.
Plus, how cannabis use is landing more and more younger people in the ER. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
The Sonic 2 for $7 deal, $2.99 strawberry shortcake snowball slush float. Sonic.
In Health Watch this morning, over the past few years, more young people have ended up in the hospital due to marijuana use. That's the finding of a new study by the Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention, published Thursday in the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. The study analyzed nearly 540,000 cases nationwide where people under 25 years old wind up in the hospital due to compilations of cannabis use. Researchers found that from 2019 to 2022, cannabis-related emergency department visits increased overall among kids, teens, and young adults. Researchers also noticed a large increase in cannabis-related emergency department visits among kids less than 10 years old. If you want to have a sharp brain when you're older, then you need to listen up. A new study is shedding light on why the so-called super-agers have better brains. The term superagers is used to describe people who are in their 80s, but they have brains as sharp as someone who's in their 30s or younger. Spanish researchers looked at 64 superagers and 55 normal adults. They found that the superagers had more gray matter in parts of the brain related to movement and had scored higher on agility, mobility, and balance tests. They also were happy with the amount of sleep they got and were more independent with their daily living. It turns out poor sleep appears to be connected to decline.
Across the area through the morning hours. We've still got some cloud cover from those showers out to the west in Joplin. We're sitting warm, 75, dew point 68, humidity 79%, so a muggy start out there. It's been a warm and muggy start across the area. 76 Nevada, 75 Fort Scott, Iola, Pittsburgh, 77 in Chanute, 74 Parsons, Chitopa, Miami, Neosho, and 72 in Monette. Now, as we get our morning started, these showers and storms will clear out of here, and we'll go mostly cloudy, maybe even partly cloudy out there, and pushing near 90 by late morning and into the afternoon. Highs today low to mid 90s. Heat index values could be as high as 100, so a little better than where they have been, but still some dangerous heat out there you need to be aware of. Could see a stray shower or two this afternoon. I think most of us will remain dry, and then if our atmosphere recovers enough and builds enough energy through the afternoon, we could see a line of strong to severe thunderstorms with the potential for some strong damaging wind gusts roll through between roughly 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. across the area. So it's something that we're going to have to watch very carefully as we head into the evening hours across the area. Because again, if our atmosphere doesn't recover enough, we could still see showers and storms, and they could be strong, but they're going to be a little bit more isolated and they won't pack as much of a punch. But right now, the thinking is that line will form, and it's something we'll have to watch fairly closely this evening. Overnight lows back into the lower 70s as well. Tomorrow, really one of our only breaks from the heat. Will go about 90 degrees. A couple of morning thunderstorms. Outside of that will be partly to mostly cloudy on Sunday, heating right back up though. And yeah, as we kick off the next work week, you may want to not kick off the next work week. You may just want to stay home in the air conditioning as temperatures soar once again to about 100 degrees. Some pop-up storms possible Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. However, Thursday starts another little break from the heat, or at least that's what we are hoping for, as we drop back in lower 90s, upper 80s, with some additional pop-up storms possible by next Sunday. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. And we're going to take a sneak peek, at a video game that's all about the Women's World Cup.
Pass it back, man. It feels too good. I'm keeping it.
The Neighborhood, tonight at 5:30, right here on Fox 14.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining me in the studio is Megan Meyer, and she's here to tell us all about the Mocans Dragway's 61st anniversary event. Welcome to the show. And didn't you tell me you won last year's race too?
I did win last year's race. So last year's race at Mocan for the 60th anniversary was actually my first race back in a couple years. So
wow.
It was awesome. We got to win the event, and I'm here to redeem for this year.
But this year you're also redeeming, but you're also bringing your little sister, right?
I am. So my sister and I grew up racing at Mocan. We both went to Pitt State, and we brought our junior dragsters and super comps racing down here while we were in school. And last year she could not race because she was pregnant. And so now this year she's got her little baby with her, and he loves cars. So it's so awesome. He can't walk yet, but he can crawl, and he'll push the car along too.
I'm sure with y'all he's going to be in the car soon and racing once he's of age.
Yep. Her son and my little boy too. They are just obsessed. So so we actually had a race against each other our previous race, and I beat her. So I know she is going to try and get some redemption and knock me out this weekend.
Oh yeah, she got that fire, I bet. Well, also tell me about the other racers. I think you told me you got racers coming from Canada and.
Yes, there'll be racers from all over the Midwest coming. We have over 20 racers that will be in the Chaos class, and yes, there will even be a dragster. It's called the Bull Team. They have a whole cow scheme, and because they're dairy farmers in Canada, and they are coming down to race, and they're also one of the big competitors, so we got to watch out for them.
All right, keep an eye on them. Well, again, just tell me, where is Mocan and what time is the race and things like that?
Yes, so Mocan Dragway, just right off the highway. You can't pass it when you're on your way to Joplin from Pittsburgh. And so we will be running tonight, qualifying qualifying will be at 7 and 9, depending on, rain and all that. And then we'll be racing starting at 2 o'clock Saturday for our last chance qualifier. And then we will start eliminations Saturday night and finish up Saturday in the very evening.
Nice. Well, it's just crazy to think that MoKan's been around for 61 years, and just talking to you, seeing how their impact on your family. Just tell me a little bit about their legacy so far.
Yeah, growing up, coming down to MoKan to race when I was 8, 10 years old, and never thought I would be here running the big car like I am this weekend. So my car's got 4,000 horsepower. Never thought I'd be able to run that type of car here, but Carl and his team have done an amazing job at updating the track, and I'm just so excited for this weekend.
All right, well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show. And of course, we'll be right back.
Great prices and a free lifetime warranty. That's Frank Fletcher Subaru behind Home Depot in Joplin, or shop frankfletchersubaru.com.
The 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off next week, and a new mobile game turns it into an interactive experience for fans.
Rick Damigella reports.
Matchday Challenge FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 edition has taken the pitch, hoping to score with football fans. The gameplay lets you earn collectible digital cards of the athletes participating in the cup.
It's really a chance for fans and players around the world to play and unlock digital cards of their favorite FIFA Women's World Cup stars. And they do this by testing their fan knowledge and by predicting the outcome of matches. The fun part, of course, is not only do you test your own knowledge, you get to challenge your friend to really see who has the best knowledge and compete for the best spot on the leaderboard.
The interactive experience is free to play on mobile devices or any internet-connected device at challenge.matchday.com. Lining up a free kick in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Looks like an interesting game. Mobile games these days are just getting more and more intriguing, it seems.
They are getting very complex, too.
Yes, they are.
Well, coming up, we'll take a look at how much you helped us raise during our Hero Fund Telethon. And we've got scattered storms out there this morning beginning to clear out across the area. We'll have more on what's going to happen after these storms move out and whether or not we're going to see a severe threat later today. Coming up.
And the company that's getting us there? Moderna. This changes everything.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:27. Some area folks had a lesson in culture and heritage. On Thursday, Missouri Humanities hosted a cultural heritage workshop in Joplin. It was a way for community members to brainstorm ways to increase engagement and better utilize community assets. The day consisted of group discussions, activities, and a 2-part presentation.
Recognize what makes a place unique and special and how best to incorporate people and incorporate stories and places all kind of in this amalgamation of ideas and how to best present that to people, how to get people more engaged in places. And so I think that really helps with the idea of cultural heritage.
The workshop was free, and the workshop also discussed Route 66 100th anniversary in Joplin. We want to thank all of you who pledged donations during yesterday's Hero Fund Telethon. During our newscast, we worked with volunteers to accept your phone-in contributions to help support first responders in the 4 states. You, your neighbors, and sponsors pledged thousands of dollars that would help buy items such as bulletproof vests, firefighting equipment, and tools that help first responders who dedicate their professions to helping all of us. Area first responders are thankful for having a community that leans on them.
The work and grinding it out. I feel like when you have a passion for your job, you don't go to work a day in your life. And that's how I felt. I've loved every minute of working as a firefighter. Exceptional crews, exceptional people to work with, and getting to go out and do something, give back to the community in maybe it's just a small way one day.
Thanks to all the sponsors and first responders who manned the phone banks. And again, thank you to all of you who gave what you could.
All right, we've had some changes in terms of our severe weather expectations for this evening across the 4 states. So we're going to talk about that. First, we still have this complex. Oh, and we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is just barely clipping. Looks like the southwestern portions of Nowata County and the southeastern portions of Washington County. This runs until 8:15. We'll get you some information on that as soon as we can. But the biggest change now is the Storm Prediction Center in Norman that handles the forecasting nationwide now firmly believes that our air mass is going to recover sufficiently to support severe thunderstorms as we head into tonight. So here are the big changes across the area. A low tornado risk has been added for a good portion of the area. It's still low, but it is there now, and it was not before. Big changes here. We've got a low to enhanced risk for large damaging hail across the area, and our biggest concern has been a wind threat with this particular system if it materializes, and it's looking more likely. So we now have an enhanced severe wind risk across the area, and the majority of the area now in this hatched area, and that indicates the possibility of significant damaging winds of 80 miles an hour, potentially greater, and that's what's expected to develop later this evening. So let's take a quick look at the future track and see if it has updated itself to accommodate for some of these changes. Here comes this line of storms. And this is what's expected to roll through between about 7 tonight and 1 a.m. And this line of storms could bring us some significant damaging wind gusts across the area. So again, these changes just coming down. We are watching the possibility of what could be a potentially significant severe wind event across the area. We'll keep you updated on these storm chances throughout the day here on KOAM, and we'll be with you here this evening as they roll through. Amber?
Thank you, Chris. The Cartridge Water and Electric Plant celebrates 125 years of operation. They hosted an ice cream social on Thursday. In addition to the sweet treats, it also featured live music, a dunk tank, bucket truck rides, and old-fashioned games.
It really feels good. No matter what happens in life, when you have some adversity, you come out of that stronger and better off. And I think our entire community is better today, and we look forward to growing and becoming stronger as a utility in a city, moving forward to make our community the best place to live in Southwest Missouri.
The social was at Central Park. Kids in Miami were jumping for joy. The Iowa County Farmers Market hosted a jump rope competition. There was different parts to the event, including the longest jumping without breaking and how many jumps you can get in within 30 seconds. Everyone who participated got a free jump rope, and winners received gift cards.
Jump rope was a sport that gave me an outlet my whole life. You know, I stuck out in middle school, high school. I wasn't like anybody else, and all I want to do is give back to the kids and say, whatever it is that you want to do, go for it and never give up in it. Even if someone says you can't do that or jump rope's not going to take you anywhere, well, it's taken me pretty far. So I just want to inspire kids to never give up, whatever it is.
After the competition, there was a performance of jump roping skills by the Learning the Ropes group. Well, this morning we're discussing 3D printed food. They may look like action figures, but they're actually desserts of the future. Los Angeles-based company Sugar Lab calls itself a digital bakery, which uses a specific modified 3D printer to create edibles with treats using, you guessed it, sugar. Oh. From your favorite animated characters to company logos and even custom designs, this printer can do it all.
And while other 3D printers are being used to make meat and fish products, I'm going to come over here. Yeah. Sugar Lab says theirs is the only one in the world certified by the National Science Foundation, an independent government agency. But just because these edible masterpieces are made by technology, the computers aren't the only ones doing the heavy lifting. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Here we can share this. Would you eat or try 3D printed food? So far, a lot of you say you would not. 33% of you say that you would. 67% of you say that you would not.
I don't know. I'm agreeing with the people who are saying they would not. It's just a little too revolutionary for me.
It is certainly a change in terms of food across our lives.
But hey,
3D printed food. Printed food.
Times are changing.
It's one thing to print pictures of food, but it's a little different otherwise.
Well, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker returns to the studio and shares his big 3 stories of the week with us. And trust me, you do not want to miss it.
And of course, we've been talking about the thunderstorms. Wanted to update you very quickly on that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Washington and the Wada counties. Runs until 8:15. This is for wind gusts of 60 miles an hour. So we'll keep an eye on that and have more on our severe threat this evening when we come back.
With you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Well, welcome back. We got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. Live, local, what's happening where you live? It's number 3 this week. Joplin News First, as we're out and about. A head-on collision, 2 Ford F-250s. In fact, a felony DWI for one driver, that dark-colored pickup truck, felony DWI, and then an 82-year-old man was struck head-on in the white F-150. Sadly, day before yesterday, the 82-year-old man died in in a hospital, Springfield area hospital. We anticipate charges to be stepped up to felony fatal DWI.
Yeah, don't drink and drive.
No, yes, that's a theme of this week, it seems for sure. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First, another serious crash this last week that has now ended in a fatality. A driver of this, it's kind of an SUV, sort of minivan looking thing, went off-road at 249 and ramped off of the ramp. It was very bizarre what happened. After rear-ending a Jeep, it went off the highway and then crashed into a dump truck that was driving down the road. It happened at Newman and 249. The driver was in the hospital for many days and then passed away over the weekend.
Oh no. And
our number 1 story, 97 South. Okay, another felony DWI. Can you believe it? Oh, goodness gracious.
Wow.
This was a helicopter that landed at exit 33 on I-44. It happened late Sunday night. A man from Springfield, now charged, felony DWI, rear-ended a vehicle with 8 people inside. All 8 of them were transported to Mercy Joplin with minor injuries. The driver, though, that's charged felony DWI, he was flown to Springfield for medical care, and there's no update after his last update of serious condition. And our bonus story of the week, 96 years old, Columbia Elementary School, which has had structural damage and structural issues for years due to undermining. And the whole area of North Heights and Roanoke neighborhood is undermined. The building has been planned for years to be demoed after it was replaced this last year. In fact, Dover Hill Elementary opened up at the beginning of this year. It combined West Central and Columbia Elementary schools. And so this neighborhood school came down this week, came down really fast. So say goodbye to the past and hello to the future. It's unsure what they'll do with the property. The last 2 properties, when they had to raise elementary schools, became they were sold to a private developer who put in residential homes. That's your big 3 live and local stories of the week. Joplin News First.
Well, I definitely know the community is feeling for that of school. I was seeing on Facebook, everybody was just talking about memories and stuff.
But if people were reality check here, if you sit on the 2nd floor and you're up at the front windows, you could see all the way down to the 1st floor. So the wall had separated. Now they knew it wasn't shifting anymore, but nobody wants to keep the kids there.
Yeah, let's not send the kids in. Yeah, good call.
Things are rather different. It's great to be able to save the world and stuff like that, but it's just not feasible to do every building. So.
Well, thank you, Shannon, for talking to me, and we'll be right back.
Located at 420 North Rangeline Road in the shopping center in Joplin, Missouri.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:41 now on this Friday morning. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning, just barely clipping part of our viewing area, but for parts of southwestern Newada County and southern Washington County, this severe thunderstorm warning runs until 8:15. This is for this storm moving to the southeast, and it's got about 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with it. So we do have that warning, but again, the bulk of this is now moving off to the south and to the east. It could clip parts of southwestern Delaware County if it maintains its intensity. So we've been talking about what these storms are going to do to our atmosphere, whether or not they're going to take all the energy out of it. Our friends at Storm Prediction Center now believe that that is not going to be the case, and that we're looking at the potential for a significant wind event with our thunderstorm chances this evening. They have added a low-end tornado risk across much of the area. We also have a low to enhanced risk for some large damaging hail out there. But again, the biggest threat is here, an enhanced wind risk for the majority of the area. We also have those hatch marks again for the majority of the area. So we're talking about the potential of winds of 70, 80, perhaps a little greater than 80 miles an hour with thunderstorms as they roll in this evening. So let's take a quick look at the future track. What's expected? Our atmosphere recovers this afternoon. We get enough energy, enough destabilization across the region that we'll see this line of thunderstorms develop out across portions of north central Kansas. It will surge southeast, and as it does so, this is why it could bring us some significant damaging wind gusts across the region as it moves on through. So this is between roughly 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. Here we are at 9, almost cutting the viewing area in half. It continues to surge off to the south and to the east into northwest Arkansas and far southwestern Missouri by 11. Could have a few residual storms behind it, and then after that, those will all begin to clear out. So this is something that we're going to watch very closely as we go through the rest of the day and into the evening hours. Our rain chances, of course, between that time zone really begin to ramp up across the region, so we have to keep a very close eye on this. We got the cloud cover in Joplin from those showers and storms across parts of northeastern Oklahoma. We're sitting at 75. Dew point up there, humidity up there, so very muggy start to our Friday. That's been the case for everyone. Chanute's been one of the consistent warm spots, sitting at 77, now 77 Yates Center, 74 Pittsburgh, Parsons, Chatopa, 76 Miami, 75 Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, Nevada, and Fort Scott. As we get our morning started, that batch of storms in northeast Oklahoma rolls out. We're going to be left with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, and we warm up quickly. We're talking near 90 by 11 a.m. Highs today, low to mid-90s across the area. Heat index values slightly better than where they've been, but still could potentially be up there in that 95 to 100 degree range for heat index values. So make sure you are still taking precautions out there. As we head into this evening, we're going to see that line of thunderstorms roll through, and that's where our severe potential comes from. And again, just want to emphasize the greatest concern here is significant damaging wind gusts. So we'll continue to monitor it through the day for you. Of course, meteorologist Doug Getty will be here this evening tracking those storms as well. We'll go back into the low 70s overnight. Saturday, a little break from the heat as we get a little cooler as we go about 90, partly to mostly cloudy through the day. We start heating up again by Sunday. We go into the first half of next week. Temperatures soar back up to around the 100 degrees. And then we got some pop-up storm chances Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. That's a check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Amber with a check of Consumer Watch.
Alrighty, thank you, Chris. And in Consumer Watch, the Powerball jackpot now sits at an estimated $875 million after nobody won Wednesday's drawing. The next drawing is tomorrow night. Harvard University statistician Mark Glickman says that it's best to choose numbers randomly or use a ticket number generator. A company that provides chopped salad kits to Whole Foods Market under the 365 label is voluntarily recalling a single product run. Bag of Refresh says the organic Asian-inspired chopped salad kit 12-ounce bag contains incorrect condiment ingredients that could affect people with food allergies or severe sensitivity to milk or eggs. And MyPillow is auctioning off more than 700 pieces of company equipment ranging from forklifts to office desks and cubicles. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, a vocal supporter of former President Trump, told the Minneapolis Star-Tribune the auction comes after MyPillow lost $100 million in revenue due to big retailers halting sales of the company's products, which he blamed on cancel culture. Well, we'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Years of the Osage Nation's rich history.
Singer and actress Stephanie Mills performs her classic hit. Next, Tamron Hall.
Tamron Hall, this morning at 10, right here on Fox 14.
The Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, one of America's oldest service organizations, is offering its members something new and groundbreaking. financial services.
The organization, made up of college-educated African-American women, has incorporated its own credit union for members only, or FMO. Together, AKA's 500,000 members pack quite a financial punch. Evelyn Holmes reports.
These group of women can finally put their money where their communities are now that the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated has its own credit union.
The power of the black dollar and the power that black women have.
The For Members Only, or FMO, credit union is the first black-owned, women-led, sorority-based digital banking financial institution in the history of the United States. The AKAs are one of America's oldest service organizations, founded by college-educated African-American women with nearly 500,000 members internationally.
Everyone doesn't understand the impact we make financially. So you have to start doing things so that folks know we know how to control our money.
FMO's grand opening at the group's international headquarters here in Chicago coincides with the 115-year-old Sororities Leadership Conference.
Hey, yes.
The FMO is chartered, regulated, and insured by the National Credit Union Administration and will offer during the first year of operations primary savings, loans, and other banking services. It's open to AKA members, their immediate families, AKA staff, and credit union employees.
Every member will be an owner of a credit union.
The first of its kind credit union is based in part on the sorority's 6 initiatives, which include building economic wealth. Plans for the credit union began a few years ago, the idea to create economic health and financial stability for women of color. FMO board member Deidre Hayes Wiggum and her family are founding subscribers of the credit union.
We want to invest in what we own.
The FMO credit union officially opened today, and Monica Teal can't wait to open her account.
It's just awesome to know that we'll have the opportunity to actually do something financial.
For now, the credit union will be located in Chicago only, but it will offer online banking, direct deposit, debit cards, and other basic banking services, I mean,
it sounds like it's going to be a great asset to the AKAs for sure.
Oh yes, my grandma in Charleston, she's an AKA, so it just makes my heart swoon that just seeing them do great things for their community.
Yeah, and it is an excellent, excellent project for them. We've also got severe weather to worry about. Now, the severe thunderstorm warning in northeastern Oklahoma no longer includes counties in our immediate viewing area, but if it holds its strength and its course, it could clip parts of southwestern Delaware County as it moves off to the south and to the east. We've still got a few showers out there for the rest of us, but that will continue to move on out of here and break up. And we've been talking about the possibility of our atmosphere recovering later today for some strong to severe thunderstorms. Well, the Storm Prediction Center in Norman now firmly believes that that is going to happen. So as such, our severe threat has been increased. We now have a low-end tornado risk for a good portion of the area. We have a low to enhanced hail risk across the region as well. But the biggest concern is this now enhanced wind risk with those hatch marks indicating the potential for wind gusts 70, 80 miles an hour, potentially greater. This will be later this evening between about 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. and something that we'll monitor through the day. And of course, meteorologist Doug Heddy will be here this evening tracking these storms as they develop. We'll have another look at your forecast and news you need to know right after this.
Slots are full, and we're marking down inventory to make
Gleo, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out that door. MoDOT says the I-44 bridge near Fidelity is now repaired and all lanes and ramps are open. The bridge was damaged last month when an oversized crane went under it on State Highway 59 and struck the bridge girders. The girders and the concrete surrounding them were damaged, but MoDOT engineers at the time determined the bridge to be structurally sound. Still, it needed repairs, which are complete today. The EPA evaluates yards in Baxter Springs, Kansas for lead contamination. Parts of the Cherokee County are on national priorities list due to previous lead contamination. Years ago, the area was home to one of the largest lead and mining districts. After a cleanup effort a few years ago, the EPA is back for lead testing. The agency also encourages everyone, especially children, to be tested for lead contamination by their local health center. The Carthage City Council says they want to improve communication between the Water and Electric Plant Board. That's in the wake of a back and forth between the board and the council that led to some confusion about whether utility workers will get a pay increase. You might recall at one point the council decided to dismiss the board members, then reverse that decision under public pressure. The mayor hopes better communication can help the city avoid similar conflicts in the future. Some area folks had a lesson in culture and heritage. On Thursday, Missouri Humanities hosted a cultural heritage workshop in Joplin. It's a way for community members to brainstorm ways to increase engagement and better utilize community assets. The day consisted of group discussions, activities, and a two-part presentation.
And we've got ourselves a hot one today. We'll have temperatures into the low to mid 90s. Heat index values could be as high as 100. We'll go partly to mostly cloudy through the day. Then tonight, we have the potential for a significant severe weather event in terms of wind out there as we head into the evening between about 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. We'll continue to monitor those storms as we head through the evening hours. And of course, Doug Heddy will be here. We'll go low 70s and then a little break from the heat for us on Saturday. And then it returns next week. Temperatures back to 100.
Well, speaking of heat, animals are also trying to stay cool during this intense heat wave.
Yeah, zookeepers at the El Paso Zoo had to get creative. They made ice pops for some of the animals, like the tortoises that get frozen berries twice a day. The mountain lions prefer blood popsicles.
Most of the exhibits have designed air-conditioned spaces for when the animals need relief. There's also misters, both of the animals who want to be out in the sun, and visitors at the zoo.
So a lot of good ways to stay cool, because I mean, in this heat, you've got to stay cool if you've got to be outdoors.
Yes,
for
and stay
sure.
hydrated as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and have an even better day.